Well, it's the 5th of August, 2008. A summer day and cloudy, as has been the habit of the weatherman throughout most of the summer. We're in Rouses Point at the former Wyeth facility, Acromax Wyeth facility, awaiting a very special meeting which is to take place in about 40 minutes or at 10:30 this morning. Senator Hillary Clinton will be here, and a large number of local people, dignitaries, and private citizens and officials from Wyeth will be here to thank her for her contributions in getting the Acromax and Wyeth people to reach an agreement, which we think ultimately will lead to a change of ownership. It seems like only yesterday when we were talking doom and gloom, and many of the Wyeth personnel were wondering where they were going to work, whether they were going to have a forced retirement, whether they were going to have to find other jobs. And lo and behold, an announcement was made in the fire station saying that Acromax would be taking over in a short time. We don't know precisely what the timetable will be, but we're hoping, as local people are hoping, that Acromax will be able to sign those final papers and take over the keys to Wyeth sometime late in 2009 or in the near future after that. So in the meantime, Hillary Clinton, whom, as you know, is a former First Lady, launched an aggressive campaign for the nomination of President of the United States on the Democratic ticket, is coming to town to have a little thank you time here this morning. We'll no doubt hear some speeches. We'll be able to do some interviews. We'll talk with various people who have been involved in this changeover. They're calling it a revitalization. Had Wyeth had to close, it would have been a disastrous blow for the Rouses Point in the northern tier region of Clinton County. Now that it's open, it's a tremendous blessing. So let's find out what unfolds today as we thank Hillary Clinton for her support in this tremendous changeover in Rouses Point. Yeah, Ron Roberts, how are you, buddy?
Good, Gordy.
Well, Riley Ford is represented here, and we're delighted to have you here today. You followed the progress of this Acromax Wyeth changeover very closely, haven't you?
Yes, we have. And it's good that they found somebody that would take over this company. You know what I mean? To buy Wyeth heirs.
It makes a big difference. You've been a businessman in this area for a very long time, and this would be a tremendous hole in this corner of the county if Wyeth had to leave, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be.
How long have you been in the car business?
Since 1975.
Holy mackerel. I think it's even before that I used to do commercials on the radio station, and I did it in a voice of Clem, your country cousin.
Oh, yes.
Selling cars for Riley Ford. I don't know if it sold any cars, but it got a lot
of must have sold cars, or they wouldn't have kept you.
So you're still in business after all these years, and of course you're very interested in the community.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. It's great to see a crowd turn out today.
Yes,
for once, maybe we won't get a little rain before we leave here.
Yes, I hope we don't.
It's been a rainy summer.
It's been a very rainy summer. 21 days once, they're continuous, which is good.
Yep. Senator Hillary Clinton will be here, and they'll be thanking her personally and publicly, and she'll give a speech as part of the program today. But you and I know that a lot of people were involved in cementing this deal with Acromax.
Yes, there were, and you know it's a lot of giving their time and effort and it's free time. I mean, these guys work hard to try to keep this building and these employees working and so forth. I mean, it's a lot of work, and they should be commended.
You and I knew that this community wasn't going to give up without a fight.
Oh no, not with George Rivers around and all them. George will fight till the end.
No, it's a vibrant community. Oh, yeah. It's a growing community. Yeah. We like some of the changes that we see up here.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to visit and a darn nice place to live and run a business, isn't it?
It's a very good place to live and run a business. Definitely is.
That's great. Well, I want you to stand right up and cheer when all the people get
I
here.
will. I will, Gordon.
Thanks so much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
You too. Thank you.
Janet Dupree, my dear friend, how are you?
I'm great, thanks, Gordy. And you?
I'm just doing great. Does anybody hug you as good as I
Oh,
do?
nobody.
This is it's a nice day up here. We almost have a little sunshine in Rouses Point, but it's not the weather we're concerned with today. It's saving this wonderful facility, and I like the way things have gone so far.
They've gone great, and it's such a unique transition from Wyeth to Acromax. It's obviously going very seamlessly. And I think that's certainly a recognition of the administration of both companies and the tremendous employees. You know, there's not a greater group of employees anywhere, and they can hang their hats on their ability to go through a very tough time of not knowing if they were going to lose their jobs, to Acromax having the purchase and then making it seamless so that it's going to go very smoothly from Wyeth to Acromax, and what a great opportunity for all of us in the North Country to thank Senator Hillary Clinton for her role in this. She's the person who put Acromax in touch with our community and in touch with Wyeth, and it was her forethought that made this happen. So, you know, we're great and have the opportunity to set politics aside and say thank you to someone who certainly did a great service for our North Country.
It's a tenacious community, and as I just said to Ron Roberts at Riley Ford,
We pride ourselves in being able to handle our own issues, but a facility with 800 employees and certainly a niche in the greater pharmaceutical world, we needed help. And Gary Douglas reached out, and Senator Clinton responded, and then with the community support, this is all happening, and this is another great day in Rouses Point to say thank you, another welcome to Acromax, and certainly thanks to Wyeth for the community member they have been. So, you know, we can't say it too often, we can't say it too sincerely, how much we appreciate what's happening here.
on the back of today's program is a long list of people who were instrumental in helping make this move. But there were many more. It's those little street corner conversations and official letters of support and so on. So it's a team effort when something like this happens.
It's a team effort, and again, I think we don't want to overlook the support of every single one of the employees who works within the building, because they could have done a lot to not stand up, stand proud, continue to do their jobs, and to now welcome Acromax with open arms. So, you know, it's from the bottom up, as it should be, instead of from the top down.
That day in the fire station when the announcement was made, you could see a collective sigh of relief.
Yeah, it was wonderful and continues to be. I mean, again, this is a great community, and I'm just proud to be a part of it, and good things are going to continue to happen here.
Janet, thanks so much for everything you've done for the North
Gordy.
Country and for your friendship all these years.
Thank you.
See you later.
Good to see you.
Rouses Point Mayor George Rivers making us all look bad with a shirt and tie this morning. Oh, man.
Okay.
How are you, George?
I'm fine.
For once, it's not raining here this summer.
What a summer we have had.
Isn't it amazing?
No.
You can't see the grass hasn't been green, though.
No, we're cutting it quite often.
Oh, I just got back from vacation. Mine was about a foot long. This is a good day in the North Country. I just mentioned Janet Dupree a few minutes ago. What a great day it was in the fire station as we all stood there and heard that news.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And since then, everything seems to be going very smooth with the transition here.
What do we think the timetable will be? Are we?
2009.
We are. So a little over a year, maybe?
Yeah, it'll be by the end of 2009. It will be all taken care of, I think. I hope. We're doing work right now to separate Kim Pilot.
Are you really?
Yeah, the villages. In the substation, we have to get the electric taken care of. Next spring, we're going to be doing a sewer line, and that'll be about it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's not often that a big plan like this comes together that well. A lot of people have worked toward that end, haven't they?
Yep. And this lady that here is today was one of the big prime movers of this.
Yeah, Senator Hillary Clinton and many others have worked
Oh yeah, you know,
in the public eye and behind the scenes.
The only thing I can tell you is that all our politicians in the state and the federal government were really behind this and really pushed to get it done.
You know, way back when we first heard that Wyeth might have to close, there was everybody was scared to death up here because it means a lot to the economy of this whole region, doesn't it?
Absolutely, big time. You put 900 employees out on the street. You know, just a spin-off alone, if you stop to think about it, right? Yeah. Everybody would hurt.
So everybody's delighted that
I would hope
Acromax is going to transplant themselves into this area and make a smooth transition. What else is going on in Rouses Point these days?
Well, our waterfront, we finished that project.
That's very nice.
Yep. And next year we're going to continue on that street doing some more work down there.
Are you?
Yeah, we got another grant. We're going to be working in what they call Vietnam Park. And I think you're going to see some big changes there.
No kidding.
So, we're going to continue, and you know, when we heard the news that Wyeth was going to close, we had second thoughts of going ahead with the waterfront, but the board says, you know, we got to do something, so let's continue, and it was a very wise decision.
Isn't it nice to see those Canadian license plates on our streets these days?
All over the place.
All over the place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice to have them come down here and visit us and spend a little money and stay for a while.
I think that's the secret, is that money, isn't it?
Well, it's nice to see that their dollar's on a par anyway.
Well, no, it's not. It ain't in the par anymore. Last night, the American dollar was 3 cents higher.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Tell them to stop that.
Hey, keep it par. It would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yep.
Well, anyway, it's a good day. It's a good day to be here. It's nice that you and I can stand here and have something happy to talk about for a change. You know what I mean?
Not doom and gloom.
Well, you got it. George, thanks so much for all your help, buddy.
All righty.
Good luck.
Have a good day.
You too. What did it? So you should be the guest.
You can believe or not, but the point is that somehow it happened, and I'm told that the senator was the one that made the connection between Acromax and the community, and so this reception and this thank you is very appropriate. I think it's very, very
I wouldn't take anything away from her contribution. But I've mentioned many times since we started the camera that there are a lot of people behind the scenes that talk this up, either publicly or privately.
Oh, absolutely. And let me say, based on just my own economic development experience for 28 years, this is extremely unusual to the point where it's almost miraculous that you would lose a major employer, and even before the major employer had a chance to exit the scene, a successor employer was found. And that is so unusual in economic development. It's a once every 100 years you might see something like that. So this is a great cause for celebration.
It's nice to see that gray cloud being pushed away from this facility, isn't it?
You're not talking about my hair, are you?
No, not
oh,
your
okay.
hair.
Okay. Yes. I think the prospects in the future look very promising. Again, thanks to Senator Clinton.
Yeah. It's a good day for everybody, and we got to find our place before it's too late.
Well, maybe we can get Calvin a real job, too. You never know. Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. Have a great day, buddy.
I moved up next to the podium just to get an idea of the faces in the crowd here. We'll be shooting behind them. Certainly a large turnout here today. Still coming outside out of the plant. And here is a side view of what's happening out here.
That's okay, Calvin.
It's a large tent, but tent is not quite big enough to handle the crowd. And as we said, it's almost 10:30 right now, and they're still coming.
Celebration. This is a celebration of success, a celebration of great things to come in the future, and a celebration of partnership. A partnership amongst an incredible team, private, public sector, business community, our friends in Washington and the state of New York, but particularly our very special guests today. And before I call upon the mayor for his official welcome, let me jump a little bit ahead in the schedule and say, Senator Clinton, welcome home. My very great pleasure at this point to introduce, 8 months on, still the happiest mayor in upstate New York, George Rivers.
Get rid of these butterflies, I'd be much better off. I'm delighted to welcome Senator Clinton to the village of Rouses Point. As you know, news of Wyeth Pharmaceutical would be leaving our village came as a devastating blow in 2005. Wyeth was the cornerstone of our community, and the village has always had an excellent relationship with this corporation. There was some dark days in the village of Rouses Point until early this year when the announcement came that Acromat Pharmaceuticals would be purchasing this facility and maintaining all its dedicated and skilled employees. We stand here today with a person directly responsible for this happy ending. Senator Clinton introduced Acromat officials the opportunity presented by the Rouses Point Wyeth facility. She then worked tirelessly on our behalf to be sure the sale happened. Senator Clinton, I'm so glad you could join us here today so that all Rouses Point and Clinton County could say thank you in person. We owe you a huge debt of gratitude. As a result of your effort, a bright and new day has dawned for Rouses Point. We look forward to working with our new friends Acromat and our old friends Wyeth as we continue to make Rouses Point a great place to work and live and visit. Thank you again for your efforts on our behalf.
We had many outstanding partners, certainly in the state of New York, who assisted along the way. And they included 2 agencies who have representatives here, Empire State Development and the Labor Department. I can't tell you how crucial our regional office of the Labor Department was in solving the challenges that go with how you transition a workforce and the need to work those out before a deal could be done. But then we also had two outstanding representatives in Albany who certainly stepped forward and contributed in a very substantial and important way to the package, the deal, making it all come together at the end. Our good state senator, Betty Little, unable to be with us here today, but a key champion, along with her teammate. The two of them are an incredible team for us in Albany and have been in this transition as well. Janet Dupree, my pleasure to ask you.
Thank you, Senator Clinton. We're a resilient people here in the North Country. We have a sense of pride in our community and the beauty of our area. We usually handle our own issues, but the announced closure of Wyeth was just a bit too much. This community came together like no other community ever has. But we realized that we just couldn't solve this issue alone. So our great Chamber of Commerce representative, Gary Douglas, did exactly what Gary Douglas does best. He reached out. And he reached out to someone who listened, really listened. And every now and then, Senator, we think the rest of the state doesn't notice us up here. We thank you for noticing and for listening. Thank you for your role in promoting the unique transition of Wyeth to Acromax. Your support, your personal support, assures the viability of this great pharmaceutical facility for years to come. It's certainly a great benefit to the dedicated employees of Wyeth and Acromax, second to none. Benefit to the entire area, the village of Rouses Point, Clinton County, the whole North Country. This community, without a doubt, is as good as you're going to find anywhere. I'm honored to represent this area, to welcome you, to extend genuine, sincere, and long-lasting thank you to you, Senator Clinton, for listening to and believing in this facility and our community.
In the North Country Dictionary, if you were to look for the definition of the phrase good corporate citizen, the first word you'll see is Wyeth. Companies have to make difficult decisions in today's world to remain competitive, and Wyeth had to make a very difficult and reluctant one here. But we need to continue to recognize what they did for us. It's something that hasn't happened in many other situations in North Country when closures and movings have been announced by other companies. It's something that happens rarely across upstate New York, which is covered with closed plants, where the company that left really didn't care that much, other than thinking about it as a surplus piece of real estate. But here, Wyeth cared about this workforce in this community, and they joined us from the very beginning as partners in wanting to find a solution to make sure that this facility and its outstanding workforce had a future. They gave us the time to do that. They were a working part of the team, mostly quietly and behind the scenes, unseen by the community, but working hand in hand with all of us on the team to make this happen. Make no mistake, a different company with a different culture in this same situation would not have come to the happy result that we came to here. We are pleased, we thank them for their help in this process, and we are so pleased that they will continue to be positive corporate citizens here in Rouses Point and Chazy for years to come. I'm pleased to call up here on behalf of Wyeth Pharmaceuticals, David Champagne.
Well, it's a truly remarkable day. I'm really proud as both a Wyeth employee and a member of this community to welcome Senator Clinton to Rouses Point. You know, we have 3 facilities throughout New York State, both here, Chazy, and Pearl River, New York. And I think it's probably the first time we've had a United States Senator walking through our hallways. And I can tell you the employees that she met with really appreciate it. We just went through a tour where we were able to show her some of our facilities, our equipment, some of the remarkable skilled employees that run it. At that time, she saw our packaging area, saw a lot of our state-of-the-art manufacturing equipment, some coding pieces, and some of our ERP, materials management. And I believe she was pretty impressed. It's pretty remarkable, the equipment we have here that we're leaving, and we're very pleased to have her here. I'd also like to take a moment to take a chance to say it's good to be back on the stage again with Joe Kavolka, Len Mazer, and his management team. You should know we're working very hard to make a smooth transition from Wyeth Pharmaceuticals to a third-party contract manufacturing site under Acromax, and it's going very well. And I want to thank them and their team for the support they've been giving us. And finally, I just want to once again thank Senator Clinton. We all know she's very busy, taking the time to come up here and talk with us today and show her support for our country. Thank you.
Danny Kaye once said, life is a great big canvas and we should all throw as much paint on it as we can. Now, Joe may not think of himself as an artistic soul, but he is. He's an artist. And it may not be with paint, but he creates beautiful portraits. He's a creative soul who creates jobs, he creates hope for people in communities like Rouses Point, he creates futures for people, and he creates viable communities thanks to the work that he does. He is a creative artist, and we are so pleased to have he and his team for many years to come, part of a prosperous future for Rouses Point in the North Country. Joe Kavolka, Chairman of Acromax Pharmaceuticals.
Thank you very much. Senator Clinton, this all started about 2.5 years ago as we came to your office and said, help. And Senator Clinton stepped up. Unlike what goes on behind the scenes in many areas, this is a person that actually made a phone call to the CEO of Wyeth for us that was helpful in helping us get through the processes on Capitol Hill as well as in the state. So for that, Senator Clinton, we thank you very much. Right by her side was Gary Douglas. And Gary was also extremely helpful in helping us navigate through the processes here. We have a great relationship with Wyeth. That relationship will terminate sometime in the future, not now. And we're excited about the things that are happening here at the facility. As I said in January, when we announced the purchase of the plant, I'm thrilled to be back in the North Country. Not only am I thrilled to be here, but also my partner, Leonard Mazer. Let me introduce Leonard.
Thank you, Joe. Something else that we said back on January 15, 2008, we said that this facility had been here for 70 plus years, and our objective was to keep it here for another 70 plus years. What I can tell you is that since that time, and it's 7 months since then, that probably we have expended 10 of those 70 years in putting Acromax together, getting everything organized, and putting a team together, and putting a whole host of activities to ensure that we and this facility has an extremely long-term future. And I thought I'd take this opportunity real quick just to give you a brief profile in terms of who we are and what we're all about. We are a specialized or specialty pharmaceutical company. Our specialty is metabolic syndrome diseases, which are diseases that affect approximately 50 million Americans. So our plan is to create products for this disorder, have those products ultimately manufactured out of this facility and then marketed throughout the United States. Now, we are committed to this. We're also committed in terms of building the company in several different approaches that Joe is going to address. But before we get there, what I thought I'd do is introduce to you the executive team that we have here. First, led by Alan Rubino, who's our president. veteran of Hoffman LaRoche and has extensive contacts throughout the pharmaceutical industry and has been a real driver in terms of securing and bringing opportunities to Rouses Point. And I can tell you that everybody that has visited this facility comes back with the same exact feedback. They are extremely impressed with the quality of the facility, but most importantly, with the quality of the people that are here. Thank you for that. Also on the premises we have, as part of the Acromax team, we have Chris Campbell, who's our Vice President of Supply Chain. Chris, as you all know, is a native of North Country and was jumping at the bit to come back here and be here, and he's very happy to be here among all of you. Tim Soul is our Vice President of Government Affairs. Tim has done an excellent job in terms of facilitating, actually he facilitated much of what you see going on in front of you right now, and was extremely important in terms of organizing everything. Alan has also assembled a top-class team of others that are not here today, but not only employees but consultants that are working with us, and our objective, as I said, is to be here for the long term. We feel that we're making tremendous strides in terms of that, and Joe will now report on that.
We currently have 8 projects that are about to move into this facility from different companies that obviously I can't name right now, but the capacity that we expect to bring from about 20 to 25% capacity in this facility to about 40% capacity by the end of the year or beginning of next year. As Leonard said, it was all based on the legacy of excellence in manufacturing and quality control that is here at Rouses Point. And we stressed to Senator Clinton earlier today that the only reason that we were interested were the people that are here. Average length of employee stay in this facility is 14 years. This facility has had 70 years worth of history of quality manufacturing that is second to none in the industry. Thank you. At this point, I want to just make one other comment, because when we first acquired the facility and we had our little press release with Gary over at the fire hall, Senator Clinton was out busy doing some other things. We're sorry that she's still not doing other things. We want to thank her all the same, and thanks to all of you for making this happen for Leonard and I, and we look forward to a very, very long relationship here in the North Country.
There's a lyric from a Jimmy Buffett song. This says, "If the phone doesn't ring, it's me." Well, when the phone rings at the Chamber of Commerce and in many other offices, I see folks out here too on our team, it's very apt to be Hillary Clinton, and it very frequently is. And one phone call was the very first call that we received at the Chamber on the day of that announcement by Wyeth a couple of years ago. She had her staff in a church basement here the next morning, along with everybody else on the team, to strategize about the way forward. And one of the things we asked her then was, be our salesperson, be our marketing agent, use your contacts, use your good office to find us people who will value this workforce in this facility. She promised to do that. 3 months later, the phone rang again. It was Hillary Clinton, who told me about a young guy named Joe Kravolka, who was looking for a slightly used plant with a good workforce somewhere in the U.S. And the rest is history, and it's happy history. But you know, she calls a lot. She's been on the other end of the phone or across the table at meetings when we needed help to get a regional broadband project going, when we had a dream for a $107 million border facility at Champlain, and by the way, early in that process, needed in less than 30 days Senate authorization to keep that project on track, and she delivered that in 3 weeks. She was on the other end of the phone every time, and continues to be when we have prospects looking at this area. She remains our salesperson in chief. We had a company visiting just last week. We sat the visitor down at 12:30 for lunch, and at 12:31 the phone rang, and it was Hillary Clinton. And that's what she does for us. She's our salesperson and our advocate. That's what helped make this deal happen. That is what has helped make other deals happen, and the best is yet to come, because more is going to happen. Now, before I ask our good friend to come up here, though, I have one personal request. Senator Clinton, will you please tell the Secret Service, just because I followed you around 6 states, I'm not a stalker?
I'm not sure I can tell them that, Gary. It's really true. During my campaign for the presidency, I would look up in gymnasiums and church basements and in the middle of parades, and I would see Gary Douglas. And I was so thrilled to see him, because I have the highest regard for him and the work that he has done on behalf of Clinton County. So I did tell the Secret Service that he wasn't really a stalker, but he was a Republican for me, which meant he was even rarer than a stalker. Species, they had to handle him very carefully. I am thrilled to be here for this occasion and to see all of you, and to be back in Rouses Point, in Clinton County, in the North Country, talking about such good news. It is one of the greatest parts of my job to work with all of you and to try to make sure that you do have someone advocating on your behalf who really appreciates and respects all that we have to offer here in the North Country. So it has been a joy to work with Gary and others, and it's probably not a coincidence that I spend a lot of time working on behalf of Clinton County, the best named county in all of New York State. Grateful to all of you. I want to thank Joe and Leonard for really understanding the potential of this facility. And we were talking before we took our tour, and they emphasized how important it was that this workforce is of such high quality. FDA inspections are clean and clear, not a single problem. That doesn't happen in most places. So yes, I might have been an advocate or a marketer, as Gary said, but I couldn't have done that if I hadn't had a great product to sell. And it was the people and the quality and the work ethic right here in the North Country, and in particular Clinton County and Rouses. Is putting together a great leadership team to be able to handle all of the opportunities that will be coming your way. And I want to thank Dave Champagne of Wyeth, because Wyeth was also a great partner. Not only an exemplary industry leader and employer here in our state and our country, but also during this transition process. Because as Gary Douglas said, I've done a lot of work to try to figure out how in the North Country and throughout the rest of upstate New York we can take some lemons and turn it into lemonade, so that when a company said, well, for whatever reason, economic or other factors, we have to leave, it's rare that I've been able to see a company like Wyeth that really fulfills its obligation to the community. Too many companies don't have that ethic, and I really applaud Wyeth for being part of making this. I want to thank Assemblywoman Dupree for her leadership and her work and those very kind words, because I am a big believer in partnership. All levels of government working together, Mayor, so that we've got a good team, starting right here in Rouses Point, going up to the state, and then coming all the way to Washington. And as the Mayor pointed out, I mean, this is a facility that has such deep roots here. So the partnership that, first of all, made it successful and then created the environment for this transition doesn't happen by accident. It's because you have leaders in both the private and the public sector who really understand what we're supposed to do, and that is to provide opportunities and grow our economy and create new jobs and therefore greater shared prosperity. Over the next several years, we are going to be able not only to celebrate the nearly 800 jobs that are still here at this facility, but hopefully, as Joe and Leonard pointed out, to grow the jobs, to create more opportunities. Pharmaceuticals is such a growth industry, and I think that we have a golden opportunity here to attract people to this facility to tell the story, and Acromax intends to do that. There are some great things that lie in the future. In talking with Joe and Leonard, we have another partnership that we will be engaged in. I have been, as your senator, sort of leading the charge to try to get FDA approval with a new regulatory framework for biologics, biopharmaceuticals, for biosimilars. It has several different names. But because we are creating so many new drugs that are based in the great work of the biosciences, they're not the same as traditional chemical-based drugs. So we have a tremendous chance here to be part of what will be a great opportunity right here in Rouses Point, but also very important for our country. And we need to look at all the ways that we're going to enhance this facility. Obviously, it was a tough time when Wyeth made its announcement, but everybody kept working. People, kept looking for an answer to the problem that we faced, and we were able to find it. And it's that kind of team effort that I am particularly committed to. I also just want to say a word about one other issue, because it's so much on the minds of people here in the North Country, and it's something that I am working on as well, and that is helping people pay their utility bills. The fact is that with the increasing cost of energy, a lot of families are going to have a very hard time. These are good-paying jobs here at this facility, but even with good-paying jobs like these, the costs of heating are going to take a bigger chunk out of people's budget come this winter. So we've got to be prepared for that too. We want to attract and keep good jobs, but we don't want people's standard of living to diminish because the cost of energy is so high. We've already seen the cost of gas take a bigger chunk out of people's paychecks, and we know that both with cooling and with heating, heating is more of our issue in the North Country. We're going to have to be prepared for that. So I'm joining with Congressman McHugh to introduce legislation in the Senate to provide more help, to give people who are of middle income more help with your energy bills. We're going to do more to help low-income people because they're the ones who are really suffering, but I also want to bring up the amount that can make you eligible to get support for paying those heating bills, because otherwise we're going to see a lot of financial stress. And we're going to work our way through this energy challenge, because just like the challenge we faced here starting in 2005, there are answers. There are things we need to do as a nation. So so that we can begin to take back our energy destiny. But just as we had to go through a transition here from Wyeth to Acromax, we're going to have to go through a transition from where we are with energy today with where we need to end up. And during that transition, I'm going to work hard to make sure that the people of the North Country don't suffer, because I don't think that is fair. You had nothing to do with the kind of energy you have to use, and you shouldn't have to pay. I've just had the most extraordinary experience of being able to travel around our country for about 18 months. And everywhere I went, I was so proud to represent New York. And I spent a lot of time talking about New York and, kind of selling New York, Gary, because a lot of people in states near and far don't really know very much about us. And so talking about the North Country and the beauty here, Lake Champlain and the Adirondacks, the Thousand Islands, everything that we have, which makes this such a special place to live and work, is something I was very proud to be your ambassador to the rest of our country. Now I'm very happy to be back and working for you, and I look forward to many more partnerships and good results to come. Thank you all.
Hey, if you guys want to come in here.
Well, very interesting time here. We wondered if the large tent that was set up in the parking lot at the Wyeth facility in Rouses Point would hold all the people who came, and guess what? It was touch and go for all the seats that were reserved for dignitaries, politicians, local business people, Wyeth and Acromax employees and representatives. There were hundreds of spaces for standing, and even the media was hard put to get a good vantage point, and that's a good thing, because when we got the original message, it was kind of an urgent request to have a big turnout, because when something as unique and wonderful as this happens, in the words of Janet Dupree, whom we interviewed earlier, it's important to thank those people who were instrumental in leading it to a successful conclusion. And I think, at least I hope our hometown cable viewers can get a feeling of the tenor of this group, the feeling of this large group here today, and their unanimous support for not only Senator Hillary Clinton, but for everybody else who were the principal players in bringing this all to pass today. This is, I won't call it the aftermath, but it's the addendum, the conclusion of today's program after a variety of good speeches, heartfelt speeches. We will have an opportunity, we hope, to ask a few questions of Senator Hillary Clinton, who makes rare appearances in the North Country, but as we learned today, is not ashamed at all of making telephone calls to the chamber office and to others on behalf of the North Country. And her remark about Clinton County was
back in March of 1788, they did the right thing when they called this Clinton County.
You think they did, huh? She said that too, and so we're delighted to have all of these people here today. Many of them are our friends for many years, having been associated with the media here in the North Country and Clinton County. To call it the North Country is a good thing, to appreciate the North Country, and as many people said, to actually place it in a prominent spot among all the counties of New York State is a feel-good time for those people who are here today, and not just the people in the media but the spectators. But I might also mention, Calvin, that quite a few of the employees were allowed to come today. Let's get the microphone out here.
The legislation you talked about, can you give us specific examples about the money that might be taken out of people's bills, and will that help people up here for this winter?
Well, we're hoping to. I'm joining up with Congressman McHugh, who has legislation that he's introduced in the House, and I'm introducing it in the Senate. We're going to try to see if we can get it passed in September. We have been trying in the Senate to add to the amount of money we spend for LIHEAP, which is the Low-Income Heating Assistance Program. So far, we've been blocked by the Republicans. They have waged filibusters. I'm hoping that when they get back, they're going to realize that people really need this help. So we've got it. Do we have a press statement, Ben?
We do. We're
the press release. Yeah, we'll send it to you, and it'll give you all the details.
Okay, thank you.
Have you had a chance to talk with Governor Patterson about the state's economic budget problems?
Yes, I have. I've spoken with him several times. He called me to tell me that he was going to make the address that he did outlining some of the problems, and I have spoken with him as recently as last night. Obviously, many states are facing shortfalls, and some of that is because of the failed economic policies that we have lived through for the last several years, and because of cutbacks by the administration and the kind of programs that can actually help states. So we're going to work to see if we can't provide more relief at the federal level while the governor tries to deal with the state budget. But that'll give them a little bit of wiggle room to be able to make some decisions if we're successful.
Senator Clinton, our producer of the women's program, would like me to ask you a couple of questions. What sort of ground do you think you've broken for women in politics with your run for president?
Well, I think that we came so close to breaking that hardest and highest glass ceiling that a lot of people really took encouragement from my race. I've had countless women and girls tell me that because of what I did in my campaign, they feel more confident about their own opportunities. And I think, too, we got more votes than anybody has ever gotten running for president. I like to say 18 million cracks in the glass ceiling. And I think that was a very good milestone for our country. Now we have to keep going so that somebody eventually breaks that glass ceiling.
We got one more.
How are you doing?
Thank you. Congratulations. What was the hardest thing you had to do, Senator, on the campaign trail, or with this deal, Acromax deal, to get it going?
Well, when it came to Acromax, it was a result of a lot of hard work and following up on some good leads that we had. I learned about Acromax and their interest in having a manufacturing facility so I could link up Wyeth with Acromax and then continue to sort of encourage the partnership, which came to fruition. It was a very fortunate opportunity because you had a company leaving Wyeth that was willing to work. Lots of times I call a company that's leaving and I'll say, look, I think I've got some real opportunities here. There's people who would perhaps want to take over your plant. They're not interested. They don't have the commitment to the community that Wyeth has shown to Rouses Point. And the Acromax people were very focused on trying to make this deal, and so it was a great partnership.
All right, thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Senator Obama approached you about the vice president position. Sorry.
You know, I'm very happy being a senator from New York. I really love being back home. You know, when you asked me what was the hardest part was being away from New York. I mean, the few times that we came back to campaign or to, do something, I was really nostalgic and very glad to be back. So I'm really happy being a senator from New York, working on projects like this, trying to help our state, really take advantage of every opportunity we can. So that's how I feel.
You're going to be speaking on the anniversary of women's suffrage.
Isn't that interesting? Yes, I am. I'm going to be speaking on August 26th, which is the anniversary of the 19th Amendment, and how fitting that turned out to be. I'm not sure that anybody realized it at the time, but it certainly suits my campaign and candidacy and gives me an opportunity to build on some of the remarks that I have made about women's rights and roles, and how we're a stronger society when we really take advantage of everybody's talents. And that's what I'm going to be continuing to advocate.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And here's a big moment in the life of Kevin. His state senator here, thanks to the powers.
David, is the word excitement?
This is a remarkable day, truly remarkable to have Senator Clinton up here, touring the site and meeting our employees and talking about all the things she's done for the community.
You know, as we said earlier when we started talking with people, long before this place was so jam-packed that you could hardly breathe, it is a good thing that the North Country stood up behind this company for its future. And not only that, it's unique that this situation actually came to fruition today.
Yeah, it is truly unique. What you heard today from Gary Douglas and Betty Little, Janet Dupree, and Senator Clinton, the things that they did behind the scenes with Wyeth and with Acromax is unique. You don't see that happening every day. When a company decides to pull out of a community and a group comes together like that and really works to transition a site so it stays viable. And it's a great thing.
We haven't had a chance to talk with you a lot through this whole process, but was it a roller coaster from the beginning? I can't even imagine what went on in your mind.
Yeah, it's definitely been a roller coaster. You know, Acromax, like they said, they were working 2 years before to try to find a facility. When they heard this place was closing, got involved, and securing their financing and everything took time. And on the Wyeth end, we heard rumors of things happening, and that took time. And you try to keep people's expectations level and try to maintain the workforce going.
Well, the rumors were killing us. We had no idea what the truth was, and it was hard to get on the inside track. And I suppose there were days when you didn't know what the future was going to hold either.
Well, like anything, when you're dealing with stuff like this, you have to have a level of secrecy and confidentiality. Because when you're dealing with a company and they're trying to get financing and stuff, you can't disclose things. So at times, we all were wondering what was happening, but in the end, it worked out great.
Well, here we are. Don't we love this ending to this fairy tale almost?
Yeah, absolutely. And now we want to grow the business back. So.
Yeah, and it will happen. I was so pleased that you or whoever else might have been involved allowed so many of the Wyeth employees to come out here today. I was really tickled to see them streaming in.
Yeah, we thought it was important to allow them to come out and to hear what was being said. A lot of this has to do with their future, and they're a big part of what's happening here. So it was a definite we're going to do that.
Is there a part of the timetable that we don't know yet, some little secret you might want to impart to the hometown cable viewers today about how well this process is going right now?
No, all I can really say is we're working hard with them and they're working hard with us to make it as smooth as possible. We have this defined transition period to the end of 2009 when the site transfer is over. That was built that way to give them an opportunity to bring products in while they're still running the site and eating up the overhead, so it's cost effective for them. I can tell you it's going smoothly, they're working hard, and stay tuned.
What's the personal future going to be for Dave Champagne?
Well, hopefully it's bright.
I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully I can stay on here and continue doing what I'm doing. And I enjoy working here. I've worked here 23 years.
Have you? 23 years? Wow.
Yeah. Wyeth was a phenomenal company to work for, and from what I can see from Acromax, they're very good too. So.
I heard you and others say that the average employment is 14 years. Did you say that?
No, I think Joe Kavoka said that. I'd have to check that number, but it's probably pretty accurate.
That's amazing.
Yeah, people here, usually when you work here, you want to be here. People love the community, as you know, and you do. You spent your whole life here, raised your families, and people are here, want to be here.
We don't, Calvin and I do it all the time. We love to toot the horn of this part of the North Country, especially the northern tier up here in Champlain-Rouses Point area. But isn't it nice when we can draw almost a national spotlight here by having somebody like Senator Hillary Clinton, who is so much in the news almost every day, take an active role, number one, and number two, draw this whole thing to this tremendous conclusion.
Yeah, like I said, it's remarkable. Wyeth has 3 sites in New York State. We have over 3,000 employees, and I think this is probably the only employee base that's had someone of her stature walking through their halls. And to get her up here, we're very appreciative and honored that she decided to come here today, and very respectful for that.
Not that it has anything at all to do with it, but I was born in Pearl River. How do you like that?
You were born in Pearl River. It's a small world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a small world.
Yeah.
Dave, thanks so much for all of your hard work. I know you're tense and trying to organize a day like today, and you're hoping that things do well, but I didn't see a single snafu.
Thank you very much. A lot of hard work went in. Tim Soul from Acromax really did a ton of work here, and he gets a lot of credit.
Best of everything. Let me shake your hand. Job well done, Dave.
Thank you very much.
Well, as they say, it's all over but the shouting. It's now just past noontime, about 8 minutes after noon, on the day when Senator Hillary Clinton came to town, and the North Country, specifically Rouses Point and environs, thanked her for her role in getting Acromax and Wyeth together. And it's a good relationship, and it'll be a good family until that final transition is made. I wanted to mention while I can here, standing on the corner with everybody gone home but us chickens, that they did have a couple of things listed on the program which I thought I would like to share with you. And it says, today we join in thanking Senator Hillary Clinton for her special role in the acquisition of the Wyeth manufacturing operations in Rouses Point earlier this year by Acromax Pharmaceuticals. As a member of our North Country Economic Development Team, Senator Clinton has not only played a leading role in bringing Acromax to our region, securing hundreds of quality jobs, as well as our future role in the pharmaceutical sector, but has been a committed partner in many recent advancements, working in tangent with Senator Charles Schumer and Representatives John McHugh and Kirsten Gillibrand, including the Port of Excellence, the border documentation, broadband, Plattsburgh International Airport that we spent a lot of time talking about. And it says at the end, we thank Senator Clinton for her partnership and support, and we know the best is yet to come as we continue to work together on a range of new projects and initiatives for the North Country. Onward and upward together. Does that sound like Gary Douglas? I think so. Our viewers have seen probably newer copies of this wonderful Town of Champlain 2000 book that Calvin has spent so many endless hours in helping to put together. But in it is a few pages of the history of Wyeth here in Rouses Point. And I don't mind reading a little bit of it for you today, so those of you who are hearing about Wyeth for the first time, or who really didn't pay attention to this wonderful corporation here in the northern part of Clinton County, so you can be filled in a little bit about what it's all about. So let's talk about it. Rouses Point start for Wyeth traces back through Ayerst. In 1925, Ayerst, McKenna and Harrison Limited was founded in Canada by W.A.S. Ayerst, W.J. McKenna, and W.H. Harrison and H. McPherson. They formed an early association with McGill University and began to develop and produce many biological products. On March 4th, 1934, Ayerst, McKenna, and Harrison established a manufacturing and distributing site in the old high school in Rouses Point, New York. I don't know if Calvin can get a picture of it here, but I wouldn't be surprised. I've been asking if the old building is still in there somewhere, and Calvin thinks it might be. Maybe we can confirm that later on. The original staff of 5 shipped their first order on April 6, 1934. In 1942, Ayerst Laboratories introduced Premarin, conjugated estrogen tablets, USP, the world's first conjugated estrogens product in the US and Canada. Today, Premarin is the most widely prescribed estrogen product in the United States. Then, in 1943, Ayerst Laboratories joined AHP. In 1945, the Rouses Point site and the International Chemical Workers Union formed a partnership and established Local 95C of the ICWU. The Rouses Point facility continued to grow in size. And hard to believe it was this long ago, but it was 1967 when a 12,000 square foot chemical pilot plant was built for specialized chemical manufacturing and laboratory space. 1969, a $2 million research complex was built in Shazy, New York, on land purchased from the William H. Minor Agricultural Research Institute, because it's right there. In 1987, an amalgamation of Wyeth and Airst formed at Wyeth Airst. In 2002, AHP changed its name to Wyeth to reflect its role as a global research-driven pharmaceutical company committed to solving the world's health problems through leading-edge biotechnology. Well, guess what? The name will be changed again, and it will become not Acramax Wyeth, but Acramax, within a short time, possibly a year or two or three. We're standing on the corner looking at the building over my shoulder on what turned out to be a simply beautiful sunshiny day with large cumulus clouds on the 5th day of August 2008. What a pleasure it is to be here or be anywhere at my advanced age, but to be working with Calvin with that hometown cable camera over his shoulder and to report on something that we think is tremendously significant in the North Country. I can't stress strongly enough that it's rare for a plant like this to say it's going to close and leave the area and then to have it be rejuvenated. Thanks to Acramax and work by lots of people, including Senator Hillary Clinton, who is here today and was generally appreciative of the thanks that was offered to her by not only the officials from the area who made their speeches on the stage, but hundreds and hundreds of employees from Wyeth inside who were allowed to come out and view the proceedings. It's a good day in the North Country when something like this happens, and we hope that we at Hometown Cable can cover lots and lots and lots more stories just like this one. Who knows where we're going to be next time for our little corner.